The majority of teachers in South Africa cannot cope with the demand of their jobs. This was revealed at the Teachers INDABA that was hosted by the Department of Basic Education in Pretoria last week. In recent years, the department has seen a significant increase in the number of teachers who take sick leave. Well, more so than any other form of leave, which is a clear indication that their general well-being was compromised. Speaking at the event, the South African Council of Educators spokesperson Themba Ndhlovu said teachers had to deal with a lot of issues unrelated to teaching, such as a lack of safety at some schools. Now, Ndhlovu also added that as an organization, they want to come up with a booklet on financial well-being, which could be distributed to teachers so that they understand finances and budgeting better, because an unhappy teacher at home obviously can't produce at work. Now, to get more on the outcomes of the INDABA, we are joined from our Pretoria studios by Themba Ndhlovu, who is the spokesperson for the South African Council of Educators. A very good morning to you, Themba. Thank you for joining us.
No, good morning.
I've got a shocking statistic here, Themba. Some reports claim that 9 out of 10 teachers in some areas need medication just to cope with the daily pressures of their jobs. Is that really the case?
I think what is important, which we must understand, is that we've come to realize that a good number of our teachers are working under very stressful conditions. And those stressful conditions need us as a nation to attend to and look at how best we could assist our teachers. I know one of the speakers at that INDABA indicated very clearly that 9 out of 10 teachers in the country actually are under antidepressants because of the stressful situation and the stressful nature of their jobs.
That is a big number. How do you believe this is affecting the day-to-day operation of schools then?
We are saying actually as council that that has a very negative effect on the day-to-day running of schools, and we believe it is important that as a nation we deal with these matters, address all issues that are related to teacher dissatisfaction. One of the issues that has come up in the open actually is the question of safety of schools, the question of teachers not getting what they believe they should get in terms of remuneration. And I believe it's important that as a nation we deal with these aspects and address them as soon as possible.
How are we going to, how do you think we overcome the issues, things like safety, things like the remuneration issue? What were some of the other concerns that the teachers raised at the INDABA, for instance?
In actual fact, what we have seen this year and what we have decided upon as the South African Council for Educators together with the Department of Education is that it is important that we look at other ways of celebrating and recognizing the importance our teachers are playing in the lives of the nation. One of those issues which teachers are raising sharply, which we have indicated, are issues of security, issues of finances, issues of workload, issues of parental involvement and parental assistance in terms of education. And I believe it is important as a nation that we look at all those aspects, and on our part as SACE, we are having engagements with a lot of financial institutions like your Financial Services Board. We have had a meeting with the National Credit Regulator. We'll be meeting the GEPF so that we look at how best can we give information to our teachers on how best they could manage finances. We are of the opinion that if a teacher is unhappy financially, or a teacher is not able to cope financially, that has an effect actually in terms of the teacher not being able to perform at the level of the classroom.
Yeah, that is the case.
The issue of security in schools, we really need to look at it. We've just had a situation recently in KwaZulu-Natal where a principal of a school was murdered. It is a shocking kind of instance. And was saying, calling on all involved in education, let's look at how best we deal with securing our schools for effective and efficient education to take place.
What about things like therapy? Isn't it time for there to be therapy offered at schools for teachers? And what about training? Should we revisit training a little bit?
Both therapy and training are very important to us. In actual fact, we are looking at a situation where in our engagements with all stakeholders, we need to look at how best can we ensure that properly funded posts for therapists are made available to schools so that teachers are able to access counseling. We have seen the nature of the teachers today dealing with a lot of social ills and social challenges, and we believe therapy needs to be provided for teachers to be able to cope with such situations. And of course, in the question of training of teachers, we believe that also needs to be attended to. And we are hopeful that our teachers would embrace the continuing professional teacher development system so that they continuously engage in training and participating in professional development activities so that they're able to cope with all the situations that confront them at the level of the schools.
Finally, before I let you go, I've got to ask you the question around the annual national assessment. Some people are calling for the program to be scrapped. What's your view at SACE?
In actual fact, we haven't had any much discussion on it, but in terms of our own views, is that it is important to have diagnostic tests. But having those diagnostic tests, it's important that we then follow up on the results that come out of it and see how best we resolve and readjust whatever needs to be readjusted in order to make sure that education goes on well in our country. I can therefore simply say, we as a South African Council for Educators, we don't have much of problems with ANA tests or diagnostic tests. However, we want to be emphatic that those tests need to share with us, need to give indications of where problems are, what strengths, what issues do we need to deal with, and therefore try and implement those kind of diagnostic results that come out of it.
I thank you for joining us today. That is Themba Ndhlovu, who is the spokesperson for the South African Council of Educators. Of course, we were talking about the challenges facing teachers. In some areas, 9 out of 10 teachers are on antidepressants. Can you believe that?